Brutally cold November, 1 month after my husband and I had married. He had already left for work that morning, and I had gone out to feed the horses. I stepped out into about a foot of snow. The wind was already starting to blow, and the sun hadn't quite crested over the top of the mountain yet, but there was enough light that I could see out to where our horses are. I looked out, and I saw that my husband's 20-year-old horse, 7 Up, was laying on the ground. Something was wrong. I ran out to him as quickly as I could, and I determined that he had colic, which meant he would die without my help. And so I immediately grabbed a lead rope, this lead rope, and I pulled him to his feet, and we began to walk. Because if a horse with colic lays down, it will die. And so holding this rope was holding his entire life in my hands. And after we had been walking for about 5 or 6 hours, my hands began to ache, my face burned from the wind, and I was just exhausted. But I realized that I couldn't let go of this rope, because letting go of this rope meant letting go of his life. As he grew worse, I began to call around to all the vet clinics within 100 miles, all of whom were out on call for an outbreak. And I had no choice but just to continue to walk. I walked by our horse trailer and noticed that the hitch was on the ground, and so I couldn't have made it to the vet clinic anyway. My family and friends took turns calling me, keeping me company, and talking to me while they could. My husband could not answer his phone because he worked in a biosecure facility. And after walking for about 8 hours, he grew increasingly worse. I did everything I could to hold on to this rope and to keep him from laying down, but he just got worse, and I knew that something needed to change. So we walked back over to the Black Horse trailer, and I found a jack nearby and was able to get it up off the ground far enough that I could hook the trailer up, all while holding on to this lead rope, which was more difficult than you'd think. And I hurried and loaded him up into the horse trailer. It had now been about 10 hours of us walking and me fighting with him to stay awake, stay standing, and to stay alive. We drove over to the vet clinic where the vet tech there told me that it was now after hours. Any work that was done would be astronomical. Being fresh out of college and newly married, we could not afford the vet bill. And so she told me that if I did all the work, she would help me and I would only be charged for materials. As she went to take him from me, I clung to that rope, knowing that letting go of that rope meant letting go of responsibility for his life, and I knew that I could count on me and that I had kept him alive this long. And she carefully took the lead rope from me so that I could give him a shot of painkiller to help him relax in hopes that he would pass the obstruction in his bowels. And I immediately took that rope back, and she offered to walk him, but I couldn't let go of him or his life. And so we began to walk. After about an hour, he began to relax, and he finally started to poop. And I had never been so excited to see poop in my entire life. I started to cry because that meant that he might live. And with him doing better, I loaded him back up into the horse trailer so the vet tech could go home, and we went home ourselves. And he continued to improve, but I could not let go of this rope. I could not let go. I was so afraid to let go. And so we walked until my husband pulled up and came running into the field, where I fell apart after the weight of carrying something's life in my hands all day. I was exhausted. And he took this rope from me, and 7 Up and I could finally rest. And that morning, he made it through. He was okay. He began to eat and drink again. And I gained a great appreciation for the value that life holds, because life has so much value. Hold on and don't give up.